Landlords on the US housing market are absolutely freaking out right now. Could we be seeing the biggest rental crash since 2008? In fact, this was the sixth lowest rent growth in the last 40 years.
US rent drops for the first time in 10 years. Renters finally have bargaining power again.
Housing market, but this year could be worse than expected as sellers seem to be giving up.
For a decade, the American renter faced a simple, brutal reality. Pay more or get out. It was a landlord's market, defined by waiting lists, bidding wars, and renewal notices that felt like financial gut punches. But in 2025, a silent revolution is unfolding. The walls of the rental fortress are cracking. The power dynamic that seemed permanently broken is not just shifting, it's shattering. This isn't a slowdown. This is a full-scale reversal. And for millions of Americans, it's the first real chance in a generation to take back control. This is global reality today. And today, we're exposing the rent rebellion of 2025. We're counting down the 10 epicenters of this upheaval. The cities where the tenants' no is finally louder than the landlord's demand. We'll show you where to find leverage, how to spot desperation, and the concrete steps you can take right now to slash your housing costs. If you pay rent, what you're about to see is your new playbook. If you own rental property, this is your wake-up call. Smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because the data we're breaking down won't just change your budget, it will change your life. Let's begin the countdown. Number 10, the Southern Illusion. Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte sold a dream. Southern charm with big city growth. A banking hub where your rent wouldn't break you. That dream became a developer's blueprint. From South End to University City, they built a forest of luxury boxes, rooftop lounges, dog spas, co-working lobbies, and for years, every single unit filled. Renewals were automatic, increases a formality. Then, the math betrayed the model. The equation in 2025 is brutal. A massive surplus of high-end units meets a renter pool whose wallets are empty. Wage growth has flatlined. Groceries, insurance, life, it all costs more. Now, the take-it-or-leave-it leasing agent is whispering offers. 2 months free on a 12-month lease. Sign this week and we'll waive the deposit. How about free internet? Drive through the glittering urban core after dark. Look up, see the vertical stacks of dark balconies. The party deck is empty. The math is now visible in the blacked-out windows. For renters here, the era of helplessness is over. The power to negotiate has quietly returned. Number 9. The Mountainous Correction. Salt Lake City, Utah. Salt Lake City was the overnight success story. Tech satellites, outdoor brands, remote workers trading coastal gridlock for mountain views. Rents shot into the stratosphere, making lifelong residents strangers in their own town. But the very forces that built this boom have now triggered the bust. Remote work flexibility is a two-way street. People left as quickly as they arrived. Tech hiring cooled. And now, the hundreds of polished mid-rise units that looked genius on a 2021 spreadsheet are delivering into a soft, anxious market. You see it in Sugar House and downtown. Student specials, reduced deposits, lease terms that would have been laughed at 2 years ago. Investors missed a crucial pressure point. Utah families are large, and they want to own. The moment mortgage rates twitched, a chunk of the renter pool vanished into home ownership. Salt Lake isn't collapsing. It's undergoing a painful, necessary recalibration. And that recalibration means landlords cutting rents, offering deals, and facing a tenant with something they haven't had in years, a real alternative. Number 8. The Sunshine Glut. Tampa, Florida. Tampa was the crowned prince of the pandemic migration. Sunshine, no income tax, and a flood of northeasterners created what looked like a perpetual motion machine for rent growth. Developers sprinted to keep up, lining the waterfront and the suburbs with new towers and build-to-rent communities. By 2025, the machine has jammed. Supply didn't just meet demand, it overwhelmed it. At the same time, Florida's secret tax, skyrocketing insurance, and property costs has eaten into the very disposable income that fueled the boom. On the ground, the new reality is aggressive and unmistakable. Billboards scream, "Move-in special," on every highway. Leasing offices that once ignored your inquiry now email you personalized rate cuts. In Channelside and Midtown, identical luxury buildings are in a naked bidding war, where the only difference is how many months of free rent they're willing to surrender. The short-term rental speculators are bailing, dumping their condos into the long-term pool. The result? For a tenant willing to look, the savings are now very, very real. Number 7. The mile-high reality check. Denver, Colorado. Denver spent a decade as America's playground. Young professionals, remote workers, and institutional money poured in, convinced the party would never end. They built glass towers and bought up single-family homes, betting on infinite demand. Then, affordability snapped. The gap between Denver paychecks and Denver rent became a chasm. Renters did the logical thing. They doubled up, moved to cheaper suburbs, or left Colorado entirely. Job growth cooled. High-paying roles vanished. The newest, shiniest towers felt the pain first. To fill them, operators rolled out serious concessions, which then forced older buildings to slash prices just to compete. In Capitol Hill and Five Points, tenants are now touring multiple buildings and coming back to negotiate for lower rates, free parking, utility credits, and they are winning. The era of automatic rent hikes is dead here. In a stretched city like Denver, the smallest economic shock now echoes through empty corridors and negotiable leases. Music swells slightly, then back to tense beat. Number 6. The comeback story's hangover, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philly was the hottest comeback narrative on the East Coast. A wave of new arrivals from New York and New Jersey transformed neighborhoods, filling lofts and new mid-rises. Every project penciled out. Every unit had a wait list. The hangover arrived in 2025. The city still draws people, but not at the pace needed to fill the tidal wave of new units. Uneven return-to-office policies shrank the downtown living premium. Concerns over schools and safety nudged families toward the suburbs. The rental market now feels heavy. Choice has replaced scarcity. Renters compare. They negotiate on fees. They pitch shiny new buildings with gyms and concessions against stubborn, older walk-ups. Banners hang from balconies, advertising deals that were once fantasy. First month free. Sign this week for $1,000 credit. For the small investor who bought a duplex assuming easy cash flow forever, this is a sharp, costly wake-up call. Philadelphia is proving that even the strongest markets can overbuild and overreach. Number 5. The desert fever breaks. Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix was the blazing heart of the Sunbelt boom. It represented an exodus, an affordable alternative. Investors and corporate landlords bet everything on never-ending growth. That bet is now failing. Thousands of units delivered just as the desert's downsides, extreme heat, crushing utility bills, water scarcity, started to dominate the conversation. The growth is guaranteed mantra has been replaced by a fierce, quiet competition. Leasing teams are in a street fight. For rent, signs linger. Online listings recycle the same photos, each time with a lower price. In the outer suburbs, it's common to see the same unit get 3 price cuts in as many months. Tenants know this. They are no longer rushing. They are waiting, knowing that with every passing week, their leverage grows. Phoenix isn't crashing. The easy money phase is simply, decisively over. Number 4. The house always wins? Not anymore. Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas understands risk better than any city. The latest gamble wasn't on the casino floor. It was on the rental markets of Henderson and Summerlin. During the boom, it looked like another jackpot. But Vegas lives on discretionary spending. By 2025, the reality is back. Tourism is steady, not surging. Tips are smaller, hours are cut. The cushion locals used to absorb rent hikes is gone. Meanwhile, all those shiny new buildings launched in optimistic times are now open and desperate. Drive through the Southwest Valley. Banners drape over new properties like surrender flags. Owners are quietly converting short-term rental condos into long-term leases, adding to the glut. Tenants are discovering that loyalty is punished. A long-term renter in an older complex is often paying more than a new arrival in a brand new building down the street. Landlords are making cuts they never expected. The spreadsheets have changed. For the first time in a long time, renters have chips of their own to play. Number 3. The extreme city's limits. Miami, Florida. Miami built an identity on extremity. Extreme wealth, extreme demand, extreme prices. Crypto kings and remote moguls descended, and rents soared to match the fantasy. In 2025, the extreme wave is receding. Speculative wealth evaporated. Remote workers got sticker shock and left. But the extreme costs of operating here, insurance premiums that have tripled, soaring association fees, brutal maintenance rules, did not go down. These costs were passed to renters until renters hit a wall. Vacancies climbed in the once untouchable towers of Brickell and Miami Beach. Now, those same buildings offer free parking, reduced deposits, and rent credits. Renewals are being negotiated below last year's price. Miami remains a stunning postcard, but it is now a stark lesson. When a city prices out the very people who make it run, the correction isn't gentle. The tenants who remain are finally being courted, not squeezed. Number 2. The unthinkable reset. San Francisco, California. San Francisco isn't just slowing down. It's having an identity crisis. The tech wealth engine that defied gravity for decades has sputtered. Remote work emptied downtown. Concerns over safety and quality of life pushed people out. The result is a psychological and financial reset of epic proportions. Vacancy rates in some core districts are in double digits, a number once considered impossible. Landlords of high-end units are offering months of free rent. Listings in Soma and the Mission are repriced over and over in a single season. For the investor who bought at the peak, it's a nightmare. Cut rents and bleed cash, or sit on empty units and pray. The city's golden brand remains, but the unshakable power landlords held for a generation has evaporated. Tenants have gained the upper hand and the courage to walk away. Number 1. Ground Zero, Austin, Texas. If one city tells the entire story of America's rental boom and bust, it is Austin. It transformed from a quirky town into a tech megalopolis overnight. The hype was infinite, the building frenzied, the rent increases relentless. By 2025, the bill for that arrogance has arrived. Thousands of luxury units are opening into a market where tech hiring has cooled and stock-based wealth has shrunk. The pre-leasing campaigns that promised permanent scarcity now echo in half-empty lobbies. This is the epicenter of the tenant's revenge. Renewals that came with automatic 10% hikes are now flat or reduced. Walking away is a real, powerful option. Luxury complexes send promotional emails begging for occupancy. In East Austin, you'll find sleek buildings where the leasing agent has all the time in the world for your tour. Austin, the city that seemed invincible, is now proof. You cannot raise rents forever while wages stall and people regain the freedom to leave. The breaking point has been reached. Music shifts to a resolved, empowering tone. Voiceover, conclusive, direct-to-camera. Across these 10 cities, one unifying truth emerges. The era of landlord invincibility is over. The power dynamic has been rewritten by a toxic cocktail of oversupply, economic pressure, and renter exhaustion. This is more than a market correction. This is the rent rebellion. If you are a renter, this is your moment. Arm yourself with data. Know your market, tour multiple units, and negotiate. That concession, that free month, that reduced fee, it's on the table. Take it. If you are an owner or investor, the game has changed. Assumptions are lethal. Cash flow is king. Understanding this new reality isn't optional. It's essential for survival. You've been watching Global Reality Today. We cut through the hype to show you where the real power lies. If this breakdown gave you leverage, do this right now. 1. Smash that like button. It tells the algorithm this is vital information. 2. Share this video with one person who needs to see it before they sign a lease. 3. Subscribe and turn on notifications. We are just getting started. Tell us in the comments, which city story shocked you the most? And what market should we investigate next? Because in 2025, information isn't just power. It's money in your pocket and freedom in your lease. Stay savvy.